Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're jumping into a really important topic, navigating those challenging student behaviors. We've gathered a bunch of sources, articles, notes, and our mission today is really to pull out practical, respectful ways to guide that behavior positively. Some really interesting stuff here.
Absolutely. And the sources, they give some really clear, actionable steps for handling these moments and, importantly, doing it with empathy. It's about moving beyond just reacting, you know, towards something more proactive, more understanding.
Okay, so you're in that moment, maybe things feel a bit tense. Where do these sources say we should even start? Is it about jumping right in or...
Well, that's actually the very first big takeaway the sources stress.
Mhm.
The need for adults to stay calm and consistent. It's easy to forget, but the behavior, it's often not personal. It might be about needs not being met or sometimes just habits they've formed.
Right. Taking it personally is a trap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The sources really highlight how an adult getting emotional can just escalate things, much more than the original behavior. So keeping that steady tone firm, yes, but fair, that provides the structure kids need without adding fuel to the fire.
That idea, it's not personal, that
Yeah.
feels huge. So, okay, you've got that calm base. What's next? How do we guide things effectively then?
Once you've got that calm presence, the next crucial thing is setting clear expectations. And it's not just about having rules written down somewhere. The sources strongly suggest involving students in actually creating those classroom rules.
Ah, so getting their buy-in from the start.
Precisely. It fosters that sense of ownership.
Mm.
And then, of course, clearly defining what's okay and what's not, maybe posting it visibly. And if a line does get crossed, the advice is clear.
Mm.
Address it privately, respectfully, avoid any kind of public calling out.
Yeah, that co-creation piece sounds really powerful. Okay, expectations are clear. How do we then, encourage the good stuff, not just react to the missteps?
That's where positive reinforcement is key. The sources talk a lot about catching them doing the right thing, even small things.
Like noticing the little wins.
Exactly. There's a great example in there. Thank you for waiting your turn that shows respect. Specific praise like that. Really powerful. And yeah, they also mention things like stickers, coins, maybe class privileges.
Mm.
Appropriate incentives can work well too.
That feels like a real shift in focus, looking for the positive and
Yeah.
noticing those good things. I imagine that helps build, well, the sources call it building a relationship, right? Tell us more about why that connection matters so much here.
Oh, it's absolutely vital. Sometimes that challenging behavior, it's really a bid for connection. Maybe the only way they know how. And then the sources suggest something quite simple, but profound. Just spend maybe 2 minutes a day, one-on-one, chatting with that student about their interests, anything.
Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, it shows you see them as a person, not just a problem. It really builds that bridge.
That definitely changes the dynamic. But, okay, even with all these positive steps, missteps will still happen. What about consequences then? How do we make them useful, not counterproductive?
Right, when things go wrong, the focus shifts to logical consequences, not punishment. The sources are really specific here. Consequences need to be related, respectful, and reasonable.
Related, respectful, reasonable. Okay.
So, like, if a student is disrespectful to a classmate, a logical consequence might be helping that person or offering a genuine apology, not just yelling or shaming. Shaming, the sources point out, just builds resentment. It doesn't really teach a better way.
That distinction between logical consequences and just punishment feels critical for actually changing behavior long term. And what about when we need more backup? What do the sources say about getting help?
Yeah, you're definitely not expected to handle everything alone. The sources really stress, involving parents and support staff. This means having calm, solution-focused chats with parents or guardians. Always use specific examples of the behavior and mention what you've already tried.
Being prepared for that conversation.
Absolutely. And don't hesitate to pull in school counselors, behavior specialists, the principal, whoever is part of that support network.
Okay, that makes sense. So bringing it all together, what's the kind of golden rule here? The main thing we need to embody?
The big one, the one that underpins everything, is that you have to model the behavior you expect. Kids learn by watching us. It means speaking kindly, even when correcting, treating all students with respect consistently.
Walking the walk, basically.
Exactly. There's even a great little scripted example. I understand you're upset, but in our classroom, we speak to each other with respect. Let's take a break and try again in a moment.
Calm, clear, respectful. So wrapping it all up, what these sources really show is how shifting away from just reacting and punishing towards these proactive, positive, relationship-focused strategies, well, it can create a fundamentally different and much more effective classroom environment. That really is the heart of it for you, the listener. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're tools to help you build genuine respect and connection. It's about fostering growth, not just managing behavior.
So here's something to think about. How might adopting just one of these respectful relationship building approaches change a challenging interaction you might have this week?